Hey Tom, what's up? How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I feel like this is our semi-annual quarantine check-in because the last time I
Uh-huh.
saw you was about 2 months ago.
That's what I thought. I was like, did we just talk?
I know we kind of did just talk, but it's always great to see you. So what's been just going on over the last couple of months for you?
Lots of stuff. Well, the big news was the Senate Intelligence, the Select Committee on Intelligence released language for basically grabbing all the information and having them be accountable up through an interagency task force that reports directly to the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee. So that's a big deal. That's something that me and my team did at our company to the stars. And that's, these are the steps that you take to get to disclosure.
Yeah,
So it's a big deal. I mean, to
yeah,
finally get Congress briefed and acting like national security language. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because I think the last time that you and I talked, that was just when the Pentagon and the DoD had actually confirmed those videos that your company To the Stars put out with the UFOs. And so it seems like a lot of kind of progress is being made in that direction.
Yeah, there is, and there's a lot of things that are happening even behind the scenes that we can't talk about. So I think people just it's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of people that I remember like they thought I was like I lost mine because I stopped playing and Blink and then like went chasing spaceships. But if you look at the stuff that came out with the Senate last week, then you understand why like I'm doing what I'm doing. But To the Stars is not a UFO research group. It's you got three divisions, and there's entertainment that's informed science fiction. That's no different than like Disney and the way it operates. Much smaller, obviously, but Disney's gargantuan. It's like saying my band is no different than the Beatles. It's like no different at all. you know, but but in any case, it's a lot of people don't understand how it works. There's some places that just make movies, some places that just publish books, some people that just make comic book, whatever. We kind of do it all. Um, and then we also have a science division, and we built an artificial intelligence system, and that's doing a lot of different stuff. And then we also have an aerospace division that has a lot on its plate that are, especially like technologies that are, like advanced propulsion and looking at different things, dealing with how these things fly and how to bring that out to the world. So, you know, but, the core of a lot of the people in there was really about how to exploit disclosure because it's coming. And that's the technology, and it's kind of like the history of who we are and where we're going, but it's also how do we tell people about it and how do we get people to understand, because it's complicated. So but we do a lot of stuff there too that has nothing to do with UFO. I mean, like we're making animations and movies about dreams and cool shit, so we do a lot. That's my update. Sorry.
Absolutely. Well, that's so awesome. And, I think I kind of feel like a lot of people have sort of come around to the idea of other life forms existing, that it's probably a very small chance that we're the only ones that are here. And, I kind of thought like with the release of, or the confirmation from the DoD and the Pentagon of aliens, and UFOs, it just seemed like people didn't really freak out that much.
No, I know. I think we've all been prepared. We all suspected it. I think the people that freak out are the ones that stop, take a deep breath, and kind of going, okay, like who's inside those things, or who sent those things, or what are those things, and that's when people tend to have a little bit of a gut check, because that's what the government's been afraid of, is when people will literally digest the fact that there are things here that are so advanced technologically that there's not much we can do about it, but it's gonna, like, everything going on in the world right now, where everything is like feels like the apocalypse. And maybe it's not as bad as World War II. Imagine World War II, where your whole city is getting bombed and all that. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. So right now we're dealing with the fact that we can't go to concerts and like movies and stuff. But so I guess we don't have much to complain about. But I think it feels really bad to a lot of people who lost their jobs, a lot of people that can't even provide for the family, getting kicked out of their houses and all, or might even dying, because maybe they had, the compromised immune system or whatever. But I think so a subject like this provides an enormous amount of hope, because it lets us know that we're actually all connected, that we're all related, that, that maybe things that have happened in world events that have happened, that have gotten us to this point might not be as they see, might have been for different reasons. And I think that'll eventually bring us together and identify, like, how do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of our planet? And what are the technologies that'll really propel us past this kind of barrier that we're stuck against? We keep hitting the wall. Pollution and producing too many products, and too materialistic and too weirded out with belief systems and fighting wars over arguments that's been going on for thousands of years over things people just don't know. So I'm kind of thinking that this confirmation is could not come soon enough.
Yeah, and I like that you kind of touched on, like hope. It seems like we kind of had a globally shared trauma and experience, like with not only being in the quarantine, but I think everything that happened with like the Black Lives Matter movement and just people awakening to the actual like social injustices that are still happening after so long, and that these old paradigms need to be broken. And just seeing all of the millions of people that have come together for peaceful protests and the movements that are being made, I think for me it's it can be overwhelming and a little bit heavy, but also it's giving me a lot of hope, because I think there are so many people out there who just want to help and do good.
Well, I think people need to look at right now, it's like having a toddler that throws a temper tantrum, like a parent tends to go, oh, I'm stronger and bigger, and I'm going to grab you by the arm and you're going to do what I say and stop screaming and target, but that's a lot of kind of what's going on. People are angry, and the temper tantrum, the analogy is like, there's riots and there's anger and there's, this and that. And then there's the authoritarian parent, like, you will not do this and we will tear gas you, but really, I think what it provides is the same thing that, like you said, when you have a child and a parent, where after the whole episode goes down and the screaming and the yelling and all that kind of stuff, you can sit down and go, what did I do that hurt you? And what is it you want? And you can usually, if you're a good parent, you have that conversation and you evolve, So I'm hopeful that, and by the way, I should throw this out here. Like, this isn't like, I'm not saying that racism is a temper tantrum. I just realized that when celebrities say anything, not that I'm a celebrity. Sorry, that's even a bad word. But whenever people,
you're definitely a celebrity, Tom.
Well, I don't know, but kind of very tiny. But in any case, that wasn't my point. My point was when people can't take it anymore and they have to emote. And it's no different and then the authoritarian kind of version came in with the police and everything. But my hope is that just like a parent and a child, where a child feels controlled and manipulated or whatever, like, the parent government can evolve, the generation beyond us can evolve, because the younger generation, they won't stand for it anymore. And that's where the change comes, in the 60s is the same thing. And, it's exciting to have change that pulls people together. We all want it so bad. Some people don't, but hopefully we'll be kicking them by the ass out of town,
Yeah.
We're done. Everyone's so done with hate and racism and war and poverty. And I said, we're done, I'm like, I want to move to Denmark. I keep talking about it every day, Like I was watching this show on Denmark, and these moms were like, we don't worry that there's going to be a shootout at our kid's school. We don't worry that some rapist is going to come steal our kid off the street. When we lose a job, we don't worry because our government takes super good care of us if we lose a job and they help us find another one. We don't worry about health because everyone gets health care for free, so there's and we have bike paths. We ride bicycles everywhere. I was like, oh, sounds so nice.
Right? Completely different way of living that absolutely makes sense. And we have an example right there. It'd be nice if we, could follow, maybe make some changes,
Hey, I'm just pointing out Denmark. That's all I'm doing. I have no idea. What if it's like the worst place ever? I don't know anything bad about it. Maybe the food sucks. It's like you can get there, but yeah, they don't have tacos. I'm sure I've been to Copenhagen, right? Isn't that the main place? I've been there before. I can't tell you that I remember it. They all blur together to me, like that whole Scandinavia region. Don't really know. Yeah.
Well, I definitely feel like all that's left is love. You couldn't have put it out at a more perfect time. Came out a couple months ago. You just put out the official video for it. And I want to be kind of cheesy because you put this quote at the beginning of the video, and it's a quote from you, and it says, "We never appreciate the connection we have with others until it's gone. And although we may not be able to change the first part of the story, we can for sure change the ending. And I just think that that is such a cool quote. And I was just wondering, like, what kind of inspired that, or if you just want to kind of expand on that a little bit.
Well, I think, what people need to realize is that, these events that happen are not the definition of who we are, where we're going, and where we end up. Every time something bad happens, you have a choice to either wallow in that crisis or you use it as an opportunity to evolve spiritually. And the whole thing that's happening right now, I think people really are evolving spiritually in their own way, in a lot of different ways. For some people, it's like, man, maybe I was working too much and wasn't with my family. Other people might be like, I wasn't going on walks enough, because that's all you can do, like, well, walks with nature and shit. Whatever it might be, I think that the opportunity here is for us to look why. Everything bad that's happened in my life, every single thing, no matter how horrible it was, led to something good as a lesson. Everything. And I think anybody can look back, like, you had the best job in the world, and then you got laid off, and you lost your apartment, and you got, like, everything went south. It was like the worst time ever. But what it will do for you, that moment of clarity, is you'll probably look back and go, yeah, but then I got, like, this weird consulting gig doing, makeup, and now I'm doing makeup on movies, and it's like the best thing ever. I don't know how I can choose my own schedule, so everything will lead to something else that's better, no matter how bad it is. And I think that people get lost in that. This is the problem with us as people, like, losing touch with who we are as human beings. Not like, this is the thing, like, people are very kind of focused on our life. Like, I go to job, I'm in the freeway on traffic, and I go to the movies, and I go to concerts on weekends or whatever. But that's not who we are and why we're here. There is a unified consciousness. We don't know much about it. They've proven it exists, because they even use these tools in the US government when they have psychics that are meditating, and they can pull out information past, present, future. There is a unified mind, and everyone's connected to it. So you got to stop thinking that your mind exists in your head. This is just a receiver.
Yeah, I think meditation has been so important for me personally, especially during this time, because it's like you said, everything externally that we thought made us was taken away. So then we're just left with, like, who am I? How do I feel about myself? What am I putting out into the world? What do I want to do with my future? And I know for me, like, I get anxiety a lot. So meditation has been something that, has always just really helped me. And I just always feel more calm and in tune whenever I'm doing that. So I'm really, like, happy to hear you talking about that, and just putting that out in the world. That's why I always love talking to you. You keep it real,
Well, I know it's funny. It's like meditation, calming down anxiety and all these different things is so on point. People don't understand that consciousness, can manipulate and affect matter. So when you meditate, you can calm all your emotions down. You can calm your heartbeat down. You can get rid of the anxiety. You can do a lot of different things. But just to give you another idea of what the same meditation does, there was a physicist working on the UFO program at the Department of Defense. And when early on, decades ago, when they were looking into all the anti-gravity stuff, what they didn't understand was their original early calculations was that it took an enormous amount of power to cancel gravity. I mean, like taking this power of the sun or something, whatever it might have been. It might not be the case now, but just back then. But then they had these guys that were meditating in the Middle East that were levitating with no engine, no spaceship, like literally just their mind. So they're like, how does consciousness affect matter? Because all we know is we have to build an engine, and it has to be antimatter or nuclear power, and we got to do these crazy frequencies, and we got but then there's this guy that's just meditating, and it does it. So the point is, it's a consciousness thing. There's something there that that can do the same thing that we think we need the power of a star or something to do. But that just goes along with the fact that, meditation can control physical matter, can control the matter of your body, because you are not your body, like you're a soul that's connected to something much bigger. Yeah. But you're in this physical to learn and to weave and to bump into people. So
yeah, we have, I think
that's my speech.
We have so much more power than we give ourselves credit for, with what we're able to do with our minds. And I do want to, talk to you about the Angels and Airwaves album, which I know you've been working hard at.
Yep.
I think I saw maybe an Instagram story on Elon's Instagram where you guys were kind of doing arrangements and finishing touches. So what's up with the new album?
We just started arranging our very last song this week, and it's like basically the way we do things is people kind of keep going. You keep saying you're almost done, or it's how come it's taking so long? Well, what I do that's different than what I used to do. We used to like in Blink. I would write a song on acoustic guitar, then I would sit with Mark, and he would learn it, and or vice versa. He would write something, whatever, but we would kind of figure it out together after the fact. And then we would go and sit with Travis and go, what do you think? And then we'd change it some more and then learn it all together. And then the third step would be going in the studio and recording it exactly that way. That's not how it works anymore because recording has changed so much over the past couple of decades. Like now I spend a year like just creating and arranging and moving things around, flipping sounds, trying the new constantly. Like it's like a painting that you're like come in one day, go, I don't like the blue, but it's really easy to select the blue and move it out and put in purple, So it's like that kind of thing. And so that's the longest process. But to get down and actually go, okay, we love this. This is what we're doing. Let's record it. That takes like 2 weeks, to redo the tracks to where they're like the ones you want to keep that sound really good. Because right now we don't spend a lot of time. We'll just like record a guitar and then we're like, okay, it's good enough. It sounds like a guitar, but later we will, okay, now let's craft the tone that we want. That's just a little bit more time. But in any case, we are within like 2.5 weeks from starting that tracking process. So we are very close, super close. And by the way, there's something that comes with this album that I can't say. That's a really big deal, and it's the most ambitious like thing that I've done yet. So I'm really excited about it. Like this is what this band's for. It's like trying to do things that people don't expect, and they're like, wow, that's cool. It's cool. You really put that much effort into doing something that has something in it that's touching. So.
Yeah, well, I think you give your fans a really like an experience, and just it's I think it's a way to like be able to.
That's
bond.
the goal. That is the goal. It'll be a bad experience, but we're trying.
Absolutely. So, do you think you're going to be dropping a new single anytime soon as well?
Yes, but probably it'll be like it's a few months away because we're going to finish this all up and then start mixing. So. Where are we? July, August. We'll be mixing in August, September. So I could see the new thing coming by October.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll see. But it's going to be in that zone. Yeah.
Also, just want to touch on season 2 of Unidentified, which is coming out July 11th.
Yeah. So the first season. So for people that don't know, I have a show on the History Channel that follows of all of my partners at my company, To the Stars Academy, and all the kind of government work that we do. And so we focus on the first season was a lot about like who we are, how we came together, and then getting the briefings for the first time in like 70 years over to the Houses of Congress. And then also being brought into certain governments like Italy and them talking about their UFO issues and program. I mean, so the first season's pretty kick-ass. The second season, rather than focusing on just like 1 or 2 incidents, there's like 30. And we had so many people from the government come forward over decades of things that have happened. I mean, it's like a quantum leap, as well as incorporating the recent events of the Senate. So I think what people are hoping to get out of this show on the second season, we're going to surpass those expectations. So I'm really excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch. It's such a great show. It's so well done. So I didn't even realize till this morning. I was searching around and I was like, oh, the new season's coming out. So
it's coming. Yeah. In the next couple of weeks. I forgot the date they told me here.
July 11th. Yeah. July 11th.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. That's like soon. That's like next week.
I know. And then I wanted to ask you, we're celebrating 100 years of radio. So how has radio impacted your life and your career?
I remember early on where I was staring at this radio, listening to it, listening to the DJs, listening to music, and I literally heard Blink 182 type sound coming from the radio, like the guitar riffs and the fast pace and the melodies. And that's how I came up with the sound of Blink, was by listening to the radio, and then somehow I zone out and go, wouldn't it be cool if this type of sound was coming from the radio? Isn't that weird? It's kind of weird.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I love
Supernatural stuff. You wouldn't get it. It's really hard for people to get it.
But it really just it shows the power of radio. And, I think the cool part about it is that we're all experiencing the same sounds at the same time, Yep. And it's a sense of community and bringing us all together,
Well, I used to say that on the Last Angels tour, I said that every night before one specific song, because there really was this scientific experiment where they found out that everyone that listens to the same music at a concert, your brains map up together.
Yes. With
the artist, And I thought that was really interesting. And that happens whether you're radio or at a concert or at a baseball game, when everyone, that's the idea of a ritual. That's why so many religious, leaders and Adolf Hitler and so many people, with mass consciousness, it's a big deal. So the question is what do you want the masses to focus on, love or something else, So hopefully, we learn this and we use it to our advantage. I mean, it goes all the way back to Native Americans doing rain dancing, and somehow it worked. Well, why did it work? Because groups of people that meditate or focus or map up with each other can literally influence the weather, people's emotion. They can move objects with their mind. They can do all different types of things. They can levitate when meditating, like I told you earlier. Like, that's just the way consciousness works. It's not a vacuum. It's a fabric, and the fabric connects everything. So people need to know that. I'm trying to tell people. They won't listen. I go out, there's people mowing lawns down the street. They won't listen to me. I stopped. I said, look, I got to tell you about this meditating, levitating guy. Meditating, levitating.
Well, Tom DeLonge, you're on the level. I love talking to you because, it just gets real, and it's cool to be able to talk about this stuff and put it out into the universe. And I think a lot of people, they're on the level too, and they feel it. So
I think so too, especially like your age group and younger, like it's like known in the heart way stronger than it is like in everyone in my age group or my parents. We're getting better. So we gotta keep on that track.
Yeah, keep putting all the love out into the world, and very much looking forward to the new Angels and Airwaves album. And everybody should go actually purchase
one of the best albums of my life, if not the best album I've ever done in 25 years. I'm telling you, this record, I'm so excited for people to hear it.
I'm so excited too. All That's Left Is Love is the latest single, and you guys should all go buy it because the proceeds are going to Feeding America's COVID-19 Response Fund, which is incredible. And Tom, I just want to thank you so much for hanging out and talking with me. And this was really great. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you too. And, or thank you as well. Thank you too. I don't know. Can you say thank you too? Does that make sense? Thank you too? It's weird. All right. We'll talk again soon.
Awesome. Bye, Tom.